All right. So, hi everyone. Good evening. I hope you people are now feeling all prepared for your ACCA FM exam, which is just on the day after tomorrow. So, before I get started, is there anything that you people would like to discuss? Um, is my mic volume low for everyone? Okay, give me a moment. Can you people hear me now? Am I audible now? Okay, is it better? The volume is better now? Still the same. Okay, this should not be happening. I fix this. Okay, give me one more moment. Hello. Can you people hear me now? Okay. All right. Thank you. I hope the volume is all good now. All right, all right. Thank you. Sorry for the last minute hiccup. Let's get started. I was asking you people that before I start off with this session, is there anything that you would like to discuss with me? Now, I think it's the time where we stop discussing about particular doubts from the questions, but like a general update. How is your preparation going, or what are you doing today? What did you do today? What will you do tomorrow? What do you people think is the plan? Anyone who would like to talk?
Ma'am Sapna here.
Mm-hmm. Go on.
Ma'am, actually, I have prepared all the areas,
Mm-hmm.
but while recollecting, I just feel a bit of fury, ma'am. I feel scary for recollecting. So it's so voluminous, ma'am.
Okay, all right. That's a fair point. I think that is something very natural also because ever since our childhood, we have been given one paper to prepare at once and we have a whole year to study for it. But here, when it comes to ACCA, we are juggling with so many things all at once. And then it's a professional qualification, so the difficulty level is also very high. And the syllabus, I will agree with you, is not very concise. It is a very vast syllabus. Why ACCA has that syllabus is so that you people learn about everything related to finance. So, just to give you a brief of each and every aspect in financial management, we have the syllabus designed in this particular manner. Now, that said, this is something very natural. To deal with this, the best solution is go through the notes that you prepare side by side at the time of studying. So, if you haven't already prepared your own notes, then you have the pocket notes, which you people have been provided the access to. So, use those pocket notes and do your revisions. So that will help you to, those pocket notes are prepared in a manner that they compile the length, the volume of your syllabus in a very short, crisp manner, while at the same time ensuring that no concept is missing from there. So, you can make use of those notes to have your last minute revisions.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Dhruti, that sounds like a good plan. But again, that's a 10-hour revision, so I don't know if you will have so much of time. And I do not honestly want you to stress so much also at the last moment. Okay, students have their own solutions. Dhruti says she will be doing it at 2x. Okay, whatever floats your boat. All right, so I will start off this session now. Here I have brought forward to each and every one of you. This session was actually scheduled so that I could discuss the mistakes that I have found common in most of the scripts. So by now, the number of copies which I have corrected for the FM exam has ran into maybe 1,000 now. So there are so many scripts that I have evaluated and so many mistakes which I see are common that have been made by the students. So I have basically classified your errors according to different categories, like where have you gone wrong basis that I've given a category to your mistakes. The first kind of mistakes which I found out in you people's submissions. Firstly, it comes to the technical or the calculation errors. What do I mean by a technical or a calculation error is technical means somewhere you went wrong with the concepts, or calculations means that you knew the concept but you were not able to do the calculation correctly. Both things are something which are totally possible. Where did I find the majority of this mistake? Firstly, in the cost of capital calculation, you people mix up the weights, you get your WAC answers wrong. Even if you get the individual cost correctly, cost of debt, cost of equity, you calculate correctly, but then your final answer gets incorrect because of mixing up the weights. Usually, until and unless nothing is mentioned, how do we calculate the WAC? On what values do we base our WAC if nothing is mentioned? Yes, guys, tell me. What value do we base our WAC? Market value if nothing is mentioned. Absolutely. So do not mix up with these weights. It's very important to find out the individual market value of each and every source of finance first. Then you do a total and then you accordingly put in the WAC formula. Another problem which I saw is the investment appraisal errors. Now, this is one such topic in section C of our paper, which we know that it is almost 100% sure that investment appraisal is going to turn up in your paper in section C. So we should not be making silly mistakes in calculating the NPV, IRR, as well as the payback period. These are very common requirements in investment appraisal unit. They usually ask you to find out the NPV, IRR, or the payback period. So these are a few requirements which you should, by now you would have practiced so many questions. I'm assuming that all of my students have completed at least the BPP kit as well as the study hub, which I have been emphasizing right since the beginning, right since we got started. So I hope you people are done with that. If not already done, ensure that with respect to section C, I'm giving you three syllabus areas: investment appraisal, cost of capital, and working capital. With respect to these three areas of the syllabus, ensure that not even one question is remaining from the BPP kit and not even one section C question remaining from the study hub. This is because these topics have a proven record of being tested in the section C of your paper. So to leave any question from your practice would simply mean being foolish, because you are deliberately leaving away those marks which could be yours very easily. These are not very difficult areas of the syllabus. They all follow a very fixed pattern. If you understand how the workings are to be done, you can pretty much solve any question that comes up in the exam. Maybe the examiner can put in one to two, complex adjustments. But even if you are not able to get those adjustments right, but you get the majority part of the working right, you are still closer to getting the pass rate, right? So each and every mark counts, especially understand it from the students. I hope you people would never have been in the situation where you were not able to succeed because of one or two marks, but understand the value of that one or two marks from the student who has failed at 48 or 49. It really pinches very badly. Fortunately, I have also never been through that sort of a pain. I've cleared all of my exams in one go, but seeing the students go through this is the worst for me also as a mentor. So each and every mark matters. Do not think that I will leave this, I will leave that. Selective study is not what works in ECCA. So whatever things that you have covered till now, ensure that each and everything is what you revise till the final day of your exam comes up. Another mistake which I noticed in working capital, I told you these are the three areas. So sometimes in the cash operating cycle, you people make mistakes. So the solutions also I've given over here. Firstly, right now, because we only have practically today's day is almost over. Most of you are going to go to sleep after this session. So you essentially have tomorrow's day before your final exam. So what things are you supposed to remember? If these things are not going straight into your head, make one piece of notes which you're going to be taking for your last minute revision to the exam center, where you write, you remind yourself that for VAC, I have to use the market values. In the dividend growth formula, I'm supposed to take D1. A lot of students simply take D0, they forget to multiply it with 1 plus D. So ensure that you remember that the formula is D1. That means you have to take the dividend of the next year and not the dividend of this year. Those of you who have made specific mistakes, now in the mock feedback which you people would have received from me, I have mentioned what are the weak areas for you people. Where have you gone wrong individually? So, according to the mistakes that you people have made, I hope that you people would have also worked on those rectifications, as I mentioned when I have returned your mock exams after checking them. So, for those of you who identified mistakes in WAC, practice at least 5 WAC questions where you understand the structure properly so that if a WAC question comes up in your exam, you know exactly what steps to follow. One more suggestion is you people can create a mini formula card where you write the key formulas only, which you're going to revise 3 times before bed. So tomorrow's day, 3 times you're going to revise those formula sheets. I will come up to your queries at the end of the session. Please let me finish what I have planned for you people. Then, if in case your NPV calculations went wrong, practice 10 NPV calculations so that it gets built in your muscle memory that this is how we solve an NPV question. If you talk about the majority, I would say 80 to 90% of the NPV questions, they follow the fixed format. So once you learn that format, you automatically, it gets into your muscle memory. You're able to automatically write those answers in a much easy manner. So these are a few solutions which you can work upon. Then, talking about the section A and B weaknesses, I have observed that some of you have a poor foundational knowledge. How do you identify if you have a poor foundational knowledge? If your score in section A and B ranges between 50 to 65%, that means you know the concepts, but not entirely. So, there is some lag in your foundational knowledge. With your mock exams, you people would have been able to identify what areas are weak for you, so particularly focus on weaker areas. A very common weak area which I've found is financial markets and institutions. Basically, that's chapter 2 if you refer to the ACCA Study Hub syllabus. So where you have your different intermediaries, you have your financial institutions, you have your efficient market hypothesis, you have Islamic finance. So these are the topics which often get tested in section A and B, which you people should be totally fully aware of. These are very easy marks in the paper, so do not lose out on these easy marks. Some of you are not having the sufficient clarity in the working capital concept. So if that is your problem, work upon that. And corporate finance principles, basics are missing for some of the students. So depending upon what are your mistakes, your solutions are here. Firstly, what I want you people to do is review whatever answers you have already practiced and the note patterns. How exactly do we frame the answer to the discussion based questions? You are not supposed to learn any new topic right now. If you had left anything earlier that I will do it later and you still haven't completed that topic, then you are not going to do it right now. Whatever you've learned till now, that is done. Just revise those things, whatever you've done till now. No new concepts to be done at the moment. If your section A score lied between 50 to 60 or 65%, that is where you're going to do a quick section A questions as warm up tomorrow when you wake up or whenever you decide to study. So 20 quick section A questions from the entire syllabus. Do not just focus on only one topic. Section A overall, if you want to improve, 20 quick questions you can practice as a warm up. Where can you find these questions from? If you've already completed the study hub in its entirety, then you can perhaps go towards the examiner reports MCQs. They are from mixed topics, so that will give you a good practice. Key terms reminder, if let's suppose you are forgetting the definitions, if you're forgetting what this term means, you've studied this term, but you keep forgetting what it really means, what is the meaning of it. So in that case, there's a very good thing called as flashcards on your ACCA Study Hub. So right beneath, when you log in, right beneath chapters, quizzes, practice, you have an option called as flashcards. So over there, all of the key terms have been given. If you click on that term, the definition of it is shown to you. So this way, it's a quick way of recollecting the important terms that are there in the FM syllabus. And I've already told you, you do not have to learn anything new right now. Whatever you already know, you will work on strengthening that. Whatever you've left, that is something which is a bygone. You're not going to go again towards it. Whatever you've learned till now, you will fundamentalize it, you will make it stronger so that you can score good marks in the topics that you've done in your final exam. Another problem is with respect to the discussion based requirements where you're supposed to do an analysis. The problem is most of you are not giving the business context in the discussions. So, you people, if let's suppose you see that the risk of the business, you have calculated a risk adjusted WACC, and you found out that the new equity beta, after taking into account the new venture that the business is going into, a new industry maybe, so the equity beta, which earlier used to be 1.5 for the company, now this new company has a beta of 1.78. So what does an increased beta mean, guys? What do we mean if the beta has increased?
Higher risk and higher return.
That means a higher risk for the shareholders. Now, with risk, always one thing goes together. That is the returns which my shareholders want. So, if any shareholder takes more risk, they want to be accompanied with higher returns. These are the things, if you write these things, they gain you extra marks for analysis because this shows the examiner that you do not just know how to work the numbers, but you also know what you have calculated. You know the meaning behind it. You know that if this is the number, this is what it means for the business. This is what it means for the shareholders. So include as much business context as possible in your discussions. What would be the solutions? I'll come to it. Before we first, let's discuss all of the problems. Sometimes you do not do a risk analysis. So like I gave you an example here, if the beta has gone up, that means risk has also gone up. So this analysis is missing when you people do the investment decisions. Another thing is you people do not connect the calculations to the business decisions. So if let's suppose you people get an NPV as $10,000 positive, what's the comment that you people write? That since the NPV for this project is positive, this project is financially acceptable. But if you add only one small sentence to it, your answer will be 1,000 times more better. Does anyone know what small line can be added there?
It will enhance the maximization of shareholders, wealth for the
Mm,
shareholders.
no. What else?
Drop in variable costs, so that such kind of answers, ma'am. It may lead to negative NPV, so it should be considered kind of.
Exactly, exactly. You will say that right now, using the estimates, how do we calculate the NPV? We calculate the future cash flows. Future is something which nobody can predict for sure. We are not God. We cannot say that tomorrow this thing will happen, 100% sure this will happen. Our predictions can go wrong also. Sometimes what happens is the weather forecast will say that there will be no rain, but then it rains heavily on that particular day. So forecasts can be wrong. So same thing we are going to include in our answer. We will say that the NPV has come out to be $10,000 positive, which means that the NPV is financially acceptable. However, if the company does a sensitivity analysis, they will be able to understand how this return for the shareholders can change if the important variables change. So with this, the examiner will immediately know you're not just another student who has just understood that this is how the numbers are to be worked, but you genuinely know the concept also. That is why you have told that small changes can also impact the money that the company generates for the shareholders, right? So this is how the answers can be improved. Another thing is sometimes you do a poor evaluation of financing options. So particularly in scenarios where, let's suppose, the company is thinking to venture into a new business and they need funds for it. So there are two options for the company. The company can either get a loan from the bank, or they can go ahead with an equity option, which is a rights issue. So sometimes you people will only do a consideration that if loans are costing 8% to the company, equity is 20% to the company. So you simply give the answer that because loans are cheaper for the company should go for a loan. But is it only the cost that the company should consider? Are there not other factors? What other factors should company look for? Interest cover ratio. Okay, Kashif says tax benefit. That will again favor that we should be taking a loan. But what else? Interest cover is one point. Shashank is close. Think upon a greater consequence of taking a loan. Okay,
Gearing.
Return, ma'am. Return.
gearing. That was what I was looking for. Returns will also be different for the shareholders. There will be a higher gearing. And if the gearing of a company is high, what does that say about the company?
High
Risky,
risky
ma'am.
company.
Even more
Risky
riskier.
company. Risky company, that means shareholders will want more return for the risk that they are
Returns.
taking. Absolutely correct. So, not only just having a look at the numbers is important, but thinking from the other perspectives is also important when you are a financial manager. You're not just responsible for the immediate thing, you're also responsible for the long-term consequences. So, what are the solutions? I call this as the magic analysis questions. So ask yourself these questions before you write your final answer. What are these questions? That if company is deciding to do something, what does it mean about the risk of the company? Is the risk increasing? Is it decreasing? What will happen if risk increases? What will happen if risk decreases? How is this particular thing going to affect the shareholders? How is it going to affect my creditors? What will be the cash flow implications? If I take loan, then I will save tax. Save tax means more money in my own hand. If I go ahead with an equity issue, that will give me more flexibility because if I do not have cash, I do not have to pay dividends. I can give non-cash options. What are non-cash options to pay dividends to the shareholders? What are non-cash options to pay the dividends? Scrip
Script dividend.
dividend. Absolutely. That's also a bonus issue, right? So even if I do not have the money, I can still pay the dividend to the shareholders, but that is not possible in the case of a loan. So consider the cash flow implications also. Is this realistic in the current market conditions? So let's suppose the tables were the opposite, where they told us that if we go ahead for a loan, the cost of a loan will be 8%. And if I go ahead with equity, let's suppose in this particular scenario, the cost of equity is coming to be 6%. So financially, if I see raising equity will be cheaper for me because only 6% I have to pay on equity. But is it realistic? Let's suppose the scenario is also telling you that the stock market is seeing a slowdown. So if the stock market is seeing a slowdown, that means higher chances of your share prices falling. If you have more equity issued, more market cap, when the market will fall, the value of the company will also fall. So we have to consider what is happening externally in the markets also. A very simple rule to expand your calculations, expand your analysis, your interpretation. Very easy thing is after you've done any calculation, write this line, this suggests that. So automatically you will think about the consequence that if this number has been calculated as 280, what does this mean for the business? If this number is 280, how will it impact the business? How will a particular thing in the business look like if this is the final outcome? So this is one way that you can use to ensure that you do not forget to add the discussion, to add the analysis aspect. One very important thing is the risk return focus. Wherever you see the word risk in any question, always include return with it. Whenever you see return in any question, always include risk in it. Consider these two, risk and return, to be the twins of each other. They are like twin brothers and sisters. So wherever R1 will go, R2 will go together. Wherever R2 will go, R1 will go along with it. So whenever you mention risk in your answer, ensure you mention about the return, and they go together. If risk increases, return increases. If risk falls, returns also fall. That's the same reason why if you deposit your money in fixed deposits, probably the maximum that you can get is 8% per annum. Whereas if you invest in equity, if you invest in the stock market, you can make as good as 20 to 30% returns per annum. That is what the people generate in the stock markets. So more risk will also be compensated by more return. That's the reason why investors will be willing to take so much of risk. So always include these two things together at the same time in your answers. Then moving towards a few investment appraisal specific issues. Maybe some of you are using the cash flow timing to be incorrect. Sometimes you people are using the incorrect discount rates. You get confused between nominal rates and the real rates. Sometimes you people forget to do the working capital adjustments. If you do the adjustments, you do the wrong adjustments. Sometimes you do not deal with tax implications properly. So what are the solutions? Create a checklist for yourself that in an NPV question in year zero, you will have a negative flow usually because you invest money someplace. Investment means going outside. So a negative flow for the business. Kashav is asking, can we use the NPV formula in the exam? Absolutely, yes. I always suggest the students to use the NPV formula because if you manually enter the numbers, there can be mistakes that you can do because of which you can lose marks. But with the NPV formula, you not only save time, but the chances of error also reduce. In the debrief videos also where you would have solved questions with me, you would have seen I also always use the NPV spreadsheet formula and I never manually put in my numbers because that's how you work around in the professional world also. In year one till the end of the project, you usually have positive cash flows. Always check the discount rate type. So if you are being given with the real cash flows, then you will use the real rate. If you're given the nominal cash flows, then you will use the nominal rate to discount those cash flows. With respect to tax shield, remember that because on any asset you charge depreciation, depreciation is the expense for the business. So whenever, let's suppose I've earned 100 rupees, 20 rupees went as depreciation. So now I had to pay taxes on only 80 rupees. That means on 20 rupees, I saved the amount of tax. So if my government charges 10% tax, so 20 into 10. Depreciation into the tax rate gives me how much money I saved in taxes because of charging depreciation. And be very careful with the years. There are usually two options. Either the business pays tax in the same year at the end of the same year, or they say that the taxes are paid 1 year in arrears. So if it's same year, you include in the same year. If it says 1 year in arrears, year one tax is paid in year two in year three, so on and so forth. So this is how the tax workings are supposed to be done. Then with respect to working capital, always remember that your working capital goes out in year zero unless the question mentions anything else specifically, and it all comes back to you at the end. So the total of your working capital row in your for all of the years, when you add all of it together, zero till the last year, the total of that row should always be zero. Otherwise, you have made a mistake. Now, this is assuming the normal scenario in the situations that we get in the exam. If anything else is specifically mentioned, if it tells you that working capital will not come back at the end, it will go away, then you do not add the working capital. Just do as is said in the question. If specifics are said, follow specific instructions. If nothing is said, this is the basic assumption that we pay it in year zero and everything comes back at the end. So these were a few problems along with solutions for the investment appraisal specifically. Then talking about the second important area which gets tested as a part of your section C is the working capital and cash management part. So in this part, the problems are the operating cycle calculations are wrong. Sometimes you people confuse with the inventory ratios, wrong formulas being applied. Sometimes you find difficulty in calculating the receivable and payable errors. So the solutions would be if you're getting it wrong, maybe practice a few questions for the cash cycle in which you use the formula. If nothing is said about working capital coming back, what should we assume? That it comes back to you, Kashif. The by default assumption is everything comes back to you in the last year if it does not mention anything. Okay. Then, if you keep forgetting, one interpretation about the cash cycle is the shorter the cycle, better is the cash flow. Can anyone tell me how is shorter cycle better for the cash flows? How is the shorter cycle better for the cash flows? Come on, guys, the exam is one day away. Can you people hear me?
Working capital, then only I can use it for more purpose, ma'am. If cash is shorter.
Exactly. If the cycle is shorter, that means cash does not take a very long time to come back to me. Once I pay my suppliers, my customers also pay back to me on time. The money remains in circulation, so I am not feeling stuck at any point. I will not be having liquidity issues. Exactly. So remember this particular interpretation. If you're getting the questions wrong, you can practice maybe a few cash cycle calculations. And with respect to ratios, the easiest way to remember the formula is whatever ratio you're calculating, that balance is put as the numerator. If it's the receivables, so you take the receivables in the numerator divided by the reason why those receivables are happening. So it is usually the credit sales. We sell something to our customers on credit. As a result, they have to pay to us later. So they become our receivable assets. So I will divide the receivables by the credit sales, and that will give me the ratio that multiplied by 365 will give me the receivable days. So remember it using this way. Then the third classification is specific issues that you people have shown in the cost of capital part. So within that, your WACC calculations are going wrong. Cost of equity is not correctly calculated. Some people find it confusing that where do we use CAPM, where do we use the DVM model? It's very simple, guys. Wherever they are giving you dividend information, you use the dividend model. Wherever they are giving you the equity beta, the risk-free rate, and the risk premium, there you use the CAPM model. Whatever raw materials they give you, you have to create a product according to that thing. Market value and book value confusion is there. A lot of times, if nothing is mentioned, students use the book values, whereas the default assumption is that if nothing is mentioned, we use the market values. And sometimes you people make mistakes in calculating the gearing ratios. So, what are a few solutions with respect to WACC? How are you people supposed to work? First, these are the steps that I've written for you. The first step is you calculate the cost of equity. Second step, you calculate the cost of debt. Third step is you calculate the market value of all of the sources and calculate the weights. And then the fourth and the last step will be to calculate the WACC. The CAPM formula, although this will be given to you in your exam also, risk-free rate plus beta into the market premium. One query from Shashank is that the gearing formula should be considered debt by equity or debt upon debt plus equity. Both of the formulae by default are acceptable if nothing has been specifically mentioned to you in the question. If it mentions the specific formula, you use that formula. If nothing has been mentioned, then any of the formula that you use will be marked as correct. Then the dividend growth formula, again, I told you people, a lot of you use D0. You people forget that it is D1. So D0 into 1 plus G gives me D1. Do not forget that. Always consider the market values for the WACC weights if nothing is mentioned. If it specifies book value, only then use book value. If you people are making mistakes, then three WACC calculation questions is what I suggest. Three different questions you should practice to get the layout properly understood. Then a few problems related to the time management because I see that a lot of the students who have mentioned the time taken, some students took 4 hours, some students took 4 hours and 15 minutes, some students took even 4.5 hours. This is very much more than it is allowed to you. In your exam, as soon as the time of a 3 hours is over, your exam will automatically get closed. So even if you know the entire 100 marks of paper, it is going to be of no use if you're not able to complete the paper. So time management is really, really important. Trust me, believe me, guys, I have seen students who are very intelligent. They know each and everything really nicely. They practice very hard, but just because they messed up their time management, they were not able to clear the paper. conceptually, if you ask them, they know each and everything. They can tell you, orally each and everything. But once, they are solving in a time pressured scenario, they probably get nervous, or maybe their speed of working is slow, because of which they were not able to clear the paper. So the problems are, you people run over time consistently, and the thing is that you get stuck on difficult calculations. Not all questions in the paper are going to be difficult. That's not how the ACCA qualification works. Your paper is always a balanced paper. What do we mean by a balanced paper? Some questions will be difficult. To compensate for that, some questions will be easy also. What happens is, easy questions you're all able to do in time. But when it comes to the difficult questions, you keep on trying because you think, I really know this. I cannot leave this in the middle. I have to answer this. I cannot leave this. So what happens is, you people waste a lot of your precious time on getting those 2 marks. And what you people do not realize is that for these 2 marks, and that this is not even sure that you will be able to get to the correct answer or not, still you waste your time over there. And the consequence is that you people do not have enough time to answer section C questions nicely. So this is a very wrong thing. Each and every part of your paper deserves its own time and attention. So for this, the solution is, number one, you are going to time yourself section wise. As soon as 54 minutes are up, you will close section A and you will move to section B. Also, one more thing, I want you people to attempt the paper chronologically. What do I mean chronologically? In the exact sequence which your paper gets tested in. First section A, then section B, and then section C. I do not want my students to be playing around with the sequences. Get this thing very clear in your head. Section A, then B, then C. No playing around with the sequence. Section A gets done in 54 minutes. Whatever you've done, you will move ahead. Section B, same, 30 marks into 1.8 gives me 54 minutes. As soon as 54 minutes are up, I am proceeding further to section C. It does not matter how many questions you have done, how many are incomplete. As soon as the time is over, you will move ahead. Section C is 36 minutes per question. So ensure that you are timing yourself accordingly. One more thing which I will tell you people is the move on rule. What do you mean by move on? Usually we tell it that, this thing has happened in your life, but life goes on, so we have to move on. So if you get stuck on any question where you've already spent 3 minutes, 3 minutes is the maximum time which you will spend on any single question in section A and B. A 2-marker question is what I'm telling you. So as soon as 3 minutes are up, you cannot spend more time on the question. Obviously, if you flag it and you want to come back to it after doing the entire of your paper, that is your choice. But as soon as 3 minutes are done, you are supposed to move on. You have two choices. Either you do a guess and you move ahead, or you flag that thing for later and then you come to it at the end of the paper. Once the rest of your paper is finished, that is when you come back to it. So this is something that we have to strictly, very religiously follow if we really want to complete the paper on time. One more thing is your calculator efficiency. I hope that you people would have used only one single calculator in your entire preparation. So take that calculator to your exam hall because your hands are flexible. You build muscle memory. Your fingers remember where to work around with the calculators that you work on daily. So know your calculator functions well. Usually go for a scientific calculator so that you can use brackets and do multiple calculations in the same go so that you don't have to keep writing the number, remember it, and then do another calculation. Take scientific calculators so that everything works nicely. And sometimes what will happen is you may have to just give an idea. You may not have to give the exact numerical answer that this is the increase in the profit. This is the exact value for increase in the profit. You may not be asked for the exact answers always. Sometimes it will just ask you, how will it impact the shareholders? So if I know that the answer will be 8,000 or 11,000, I know that the answer is positive. So I do not need to spend so much time on going to the exact answer if it is not asked. So if you think only an analysis has been asked and not the exact answer which is needed, doing a rough calculation is enough. Do not waste time on calculating the exact answers if there are no separate credits available for calculating the exact answer. Be smart in your workings. As a professional, also, here you are students of a qualification. But once you step out in the professional world, sometimes you people will also have to do it in real life. You may be running short on time. So you might have to tell that what will be the impact of it. Will it be good or will it be bad? Don't tell me the exact number. Just tell me this much. Should I do it? Should I not do it? So sometimes where approximation is enough, do become smart and do not waste your time in doing the entire calculation. So these are a few topic specific mistakes as well as the time management that I have given to you, the mistakes as well as the solutions for that. Now, what your action plan for tomorrow? Right now, we are at the 3rd of September. So tomorrow is the 4th of September. What I want you to do tomorrow is, depending upon where your weaknesses lie, take a 2 hour stretch or 2 hour study time where you are going to practice 40 section 8 timed questions. Timed, that means for every 2 marks, multiply that by 1.8. According to that, calculate the time allowed. Then you can take a break for 15 minutes. If WAC or NPV was your weak area, practice these many questions each for these topics, and then go through the answers and note your common mistakes. See where you're going wrong and note that with yourself that in the real exam, I will not be making the same mistake again. Then another 2 hour stretch is where I want you to practice any three weakest calculation types that are specific for you. Create a mini formula sheet for yourself, which you will take to your exam center just for a last minute revision. Very small, keep only those things which you keep on forgetting. Do not make it a very lengthy list. Then, a common mistakes that you have identified while you were practicing these numbers, those common mistakes, revisit again that these are the things I'm not supposed to do. I will not be making these mistakes in my exam. Then, what I recommend to you people is after 8 p.m., you are not going to study. You will relax, you will have a good dinner, and you will sleep early. You are not going to overwork yourself. You will not stay up till very late. You will sleep on time so that you wake up fresh and then you attempt your exam nicely. On the exam day, review the formula sheet that you prepare. Do not spend a lot of time on the exam day doing a lot of things. Just 5 to 10 minutes, revise the formula sheet which you've prepared for yourself and arrive at your center on time to avoid the stress. I know specifically for the north of India because I also put up here. The rainy season is currently going on. The extreme north is currently also unfortunately affected by floods. So ensure that you plan your travel time accordingly. It is taking more time than usual because of all of these rains happening to reach to the exam centers. So please plan for these things in advance so that you do not have to rush or you do not feel panicked, because panic is the last thing we want to do on our exam. Then for your exam day, a few final reminders. Firstly, about the time management. I've already discussed this with you. Then a few critical reminders about your important things, that market values for your WAC, D1 and not zero, D0 to be taken, real rates for the real cash flows, nominal rates for the nominal cash flows. If you've calculated any number, just give a short second, 5-10 seconds to think that are your numbers making sense? Have you taken everything correctly or not? If you are stuck somewhere, do a guess. And if you have time, then come back to it. Do not spend more than 3 minutes on any two marker question. A few do's and don'ts for you people. What are you people not supposed to do? You will not learn any new topics now. You will not practice any difficult or unusual calculations now. You will not study after 8 p.m. tomorrow. You will not stay up late cramming the things. Trying to cram is not the solution. And you are not going to panic about the gaps in your knowledge. Whatever could have been done, you have already done that. Now is the time to consolidate, to capitalize your efforts. You have put in so many efforts over the last few months. Now is the time that every effort of yours is going to bear the fruit. So ensure that you do not panic about the small things which you couldn't do. Focus on the things which you did and the mistakes that you identified. Now, what you people are going to actually do is strengthen what you already know. So, what things you have already studied, revise them. Practice your weak calculation types. Wherever you went wrong, revisit those mistakes, review your common mistakes, prepare everything for Friday, that is your day of your final exam. So I've written tomorrow because I have given these guidelines for the 4th of September. So on the 4th of September, you will prepare everything for tomorrow, what you need, your exam docket, your government issued identity card, your calculator. Do not forget these basic things. And then ultimately at 8 p.m., after 8 p.m., there's no studying. So you have a good dinner, you relax, and you get a good night's sleep so that you wake up fresh for your examination. So these are a few common mistakes which I wanted to discuss with you people along with the solutions and what to do in tomorrow's day. Now I open the floor for any questions which you people might have, and then I will bid you all goodbye. Any questions? Anything that you people would like to discuss?
Ma'am, actually, I have practiced the BPP section A questions. I wrote a test, ma'am. So I got like 30 questions entire from the entire. I have got 30 questions wrong. So should I
Okay.
sit tomorrow and rework it, ma'am?
Those 30 questions, absolutely, you can revisit those.
Okay, ma'am.
Anyone else who would like to discuss anything? You're very welcome, Shashank. Yes, Dhruti, I will share this document on the group. No problem. All right, if you people do not have anything to discuss, okay, is practicing section A and B using BPP enough? I had suggested you BPP as well as the study hub. If you have only done the BPP now, it's practically not possible to do the study hub in its entirety tomorrow. No worries, revisit your common mistakes, do whatever I've told you right now. Do not go for anything new. All right. I'm worried about working capital and business valuation. Rest I'm done. Ishika, if there are anything specific topics which are hurting you or which you are doubtful about, then you revisit those concepts. If it is about some of the questions which you're feeling dicey about, then you revisit those questions. And if there's anything bothering you in those questions, please feel free to reach out. Okay. All right. So I hope I have answered your concerns in this session, and I hope that this was useful for you. I wish you all the very best. Do know that, whatever your final result would be, I know how much hard you people have worked. Some of you are balancing multiple commitments together. You're working and then you're preparing for your exams also. So I do acknowledge the fact that you people have worked really, really hard. No matter what your final result is, I am very proud of all of you, each and every one of you. And from the bottom of my heart, I wish you all the very best. May you all do really, really well. And you people make me proud. And may the force be with you. All the very best, guys. Examiner reports MCQs Satya can be found over the ACCA website. So you just go to Google, type ACCA FM examiner reports, and the first link will take you there. You people are most welcome, guys. Even after your exam, please let me know how it went. And if you need any guidance for the upcoming attempt also, then please feel free to reach out. I'll be more than happy to help you. Bye bye. Good night. All the best.